Hi, I'm Annika Johnson from Al Johnson's in Sister Bay. I hope you enjoy my new video series called Door County Girl. These are stories of my life, the people and places that I love, and of course how we all survive here in northern Wisconsin. You can come back as often as you like, but don't forget to subscribe to Al's YouTube channel. I'll be posting lots of really cool new videos. So let's go.
Hello everybody out there, welcome to another episode of Door County Girl, minus the girl. It's Door County Dudes. I'm here with my good buddy Kit, and I'm your host, Rolf.
I see we got the memo on the flannel green shirts.
Yeah,
I mean, well, close, but yeah.
Well, not quite St. Patty's Day or nothing like that,
No.
but somebody said I looked good in green one day, and I just said, I'm gonna buy green.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta love the alarms on like ovens and stuff like
Especially when you don't know they have an alarm
It's-
on an oven.
Yeah, it's a certain product line. I have the same machine that is a clothes washer and dryer, and it makes the most amazing sounds, especially when your kids are about to fall asleep or you're shooting a video or something like that.
My sister, I had her stop by at her house the other day and pick up her dog, and I was walking around the house, and her hearing is kind of shy, right? So in the house, I swear there is a smoke detector going off saying it's a low battery.
Yeah, so the chirp.
It's a chirp. And I'm running around the house, standing in one room. You got to wait about 2.5 minutes for it to go off again. No, not there. And I can't find it. So I find every smoke detector she has, and I take the battery out of every one of them, and I still hear the chirp. She had put a cup of coffee in the microwave before she left. It probably hit it for 2 minutes and left.
3 days ago.
And it's going beep, saying it's done. And it took me a while to figure it out. And the only way I figured it out, I thought, oh, there's some cold coffee. I'll heat it up in the microwave. And I open it up. Oh, there's the beep.
There's the chirp. Did you change her batteries for her just out of being nice because the time change now?
You didn't even think about that.
See, the firefighter guy in me, like
Yeah,
to change it
that's
all.
a good idea, actually. Yeah, that was only a week ago, right?
Yeah. So remember,
we change smoke
when
detectors.
you change the time, change the batteries
and the smoke detectors.
especially if they're not hardwired.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, because they save lives big time.
Yeah. So anyhow, what are we making today, Kitster?
So, you know I'm a Wisconsin boy.
All through and through.
Yeah, through and through. Dairy.
Yeah.
Yay,
the
dairy.
whole 9 yards.
Love it all. Have no issues with it whatsoever. I have to say something. I was never a fan of cottage cheese.
No.
I don't know how you feel about it.
But you're a Wisconsinite.
I know. I feel really bad about this. It's always been sort of the shame that I've held deep inside me that I just didn't like cottage cheese.
See, cottage cheese was always my go-to when I was a kid. If I had to have something odd on the plate, my mom was like, "You're gonna eat your cottage cheese." Oh, I'll do that. I would go for cottage cheese if I go for yogurt at that time.
Yeah.
Now I go for them both. But
Yeah. So at my house, we always had cottage cheese, like the jumbo one.
small curd, large curd,
It didn't
didn't matter.
So they had that, and my dad was the canned peaches with that.
Oh
Now,
yeah,
wasn't that
classic.
It's a classic.
That is a classic. You could get a side of that at Al's.
That's what my next
Yep.
question was.
You
Was
had
that
a-
part of the appetizer?
It
part?
sure was. When
So
you
can
had
you name all the original appetizers?
Oh geez, I don't know if I can. I do the unusual ones. Remember the sherbet float?
Sherbet float.
That was a glass of apricot nectar with a scoop of sherbet ice cream in it.
Wow.
Then we had the prunes. You could get
Okay.
prunes,
Could you get
stewed
fruit
prunes.
salad?
You can get fruit soup, fruit salad.
Or no, fruit
soup.
Yeah,
Yep.
fruit soup.
The cottage cheese with the peach.
Okay. I think there's one that I know that you're missing.
What is it?
Couldn't you get a glass of tomato juice?
Oh yes, you're right. Tomato juice with a lemon wedge on it, and this goes back to like,
like supper
old
club stuff.
supper club
Yeah.
stuff, and I remember even when I went down to like Little Sister occasionally. They don't have it there anymore, but they used to have a family plan. But you also saw this at the Alpine, Little Sister. You saw it at a lot of resorts where you can get the European plan or the family plan. You could sign up for it in your meal
Really?
plan. Yeah. And the American plan was everything. Nothing was a la carte. It was all included.
Yeah.
And we used to do that at Al's until a few years ago, where the dessert was included, and you get so many people go, "Oh, you want anything else?" No, I couldn't eat another bite. I'm so stuffed. I had way too much to eat. Well, you know, dessert is included. Give me the cherry pie.
Well, because I remember, I used to open the kitchen in late '90s, early
Sure.
2000s, and the bakers would be there at like 2:30 in the morning,
Yeah.
just just the whole baking table,
Yeah.
just cherry pie.
It was all theirs,
and
yep.
It was crazy. You guys.
Cherry pie,
So much
apple
dessert,
pie,
yeah.
lemon meringue,
there was like 5 different
coconut
varieties.
cream every
Yeah.
day because the plan was included when you got it wasn't a la carte. Everything was you had a choice of this or this, this or this, this or this, and it was a whole 9 yards.
Don't forget the employee plan.
Oh
Like
yeah.
if you worked at Al's, you could take a slice of some
Dessert.
home.
Yep. You could have you have one meal a day, but you got a free dessert, and that was a kicker. Blueberry pie was my go-to.
I never brought dessert home.
No, I always went for a slice of blueberry cream cheese pie.
No.
I love that stuff. And my dad was always apple pie with a slice of cheddar cheese on it. I love our cherry pie. I think Johnny Ostrom makes the best cherry pie in all of Door County.
Is awesome.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
okay, so after my cottage cheese thing, so my wife made like an egg bake, and I'm like, wow, this is really good. This egg, like a quiche basically,
Sure.
without the crust. And I'm like, wow, this is really good. It's super creamy. Did you make a custard? Because sometimes like with really fancy quiches, you actually sort of make a custard and then you bake it at low temperatures and you let it set. She's like, no, I found this recipe because I really wanted to up the protein in it. So I'm like, well, how did you do that? She's like, I put cottage cheese in it. But the secret, and this may be where I don't like it, is maybe it's the texture thing. You got those little, you've got sort of the liquidy whey part, and then you've got sort of the little chunks of stuff.
So you've never substituted cottage cheese for ricotta and lasagna or anything like that?
I don't mind that so much, but that is not my...
That's not your go-to?
My go-to lasagna is actually like really traditional, like it's the bechamel.
Okay.
And you have that. And I mean, you do have ricotta, but you don't have just a ton of it. And it's sort of with the bechamel level, so it's a lighter, it just adds sort of a saltiness.
Sure.
So I've got this recipe,
Okay.
which
I'm excited to learn it.
utilizing the cottage cheese. So first, we're gonna have you start slicing and dicing. Why don't you do the tiny little clove of garlic I have?
Okay.
So,
The
the
ever
recipe would
tiny.
be, so if you have a large one, just use half. I purposely got like the inside ones, and I hate when you have the really huge cloves and you get to the middle and you just have these tiny little cloves and it feels like you're chopping 15 garlic to get to where you need it to go. So
And are we going to blend this?
I'm moving this so people can see your chopping skills here.
Oh, yeah. The tiniest
We
clove
can
of
tell the
garlic.
story again about the time you cut yourself on TV.
Kit saved the day with super glue and paper
Super
towel.
glued it off. Rolf was like this. He's like,
And I had spent the whole
he
morning
totally hit it,
sharpening my
like-
knife.
I mean, that knife was like,
Razor.
but it's so hard that people don't realize when you're actually looking up at a camera and chopping and stuff like that.
It was funny, too, because Kit had called to say when it was going to be aired, and he said, and see if you can spot the point where Rolf cut his finger. And nobody could, but everybody kept playing it back. And they go, oh, right there. I think you could see me grab a
He did
rag.
like a little flinch, but
And I
like,
grabbed my thumb and I hit it like that.
and you like filleted it. Like it was, but he just kept on talking to Rachel Monick and
Yeah.
was like, oh yeah,
I still
and
think
he
I
was
should
like
have
going
done,
like this the whole time.
we
and
should have done the Saturday Night Live
the
with
Julia
Yeah,
Childs.
Julia Child. That would have went viral.
Yeah.
Okay, so now where are we at?
We're gonna
This
we're
is
gonna
gonna go
blend
in-
everything in this. I find like these cups are really super easy because they clean out really nicely. I actually can just put it in my dishwasher. I don't worry about.
So is this a silicone measuring
It's
cup?
a silicone measuring cup, yeah. But it works great with the head of the immersion blender because you can just make everything. So let's dice up some chives and some dill. You can,
Oh, I can put them
you
together?
Can get stems, yeah. We're gonna. You can use any herbs you want. If you wanted to use rosemary, you could do that. If you want to use basil, you could go that route. I like chives because it has like the slight onion flavor, and I love dill just because I love dill.
Well, I do know I've been to supper clubs, and it's a staple a lot of times. It would be cottage cheese with chives in it. And then I like the fact that you're throwing dill in there because the Swede in me says so.
Yeah, and weirdly enough, this was like I was looking, and I know a lot about some food and stuff. I know a lot about Swedish cuisine, and I found this on like a Swedish website. I've made some changes to it, so it's a little more
Customize
ours,
it a little bit.
and stuff that I like. And,
Do we want more than this?
No, I think you're good with that. We're not going to go
That's
crazy.
going in here?
It's going right in there. So basically, we're making like a cottage cheese dip
Okay.
for vegetables. Like think of it almost like a hummus, where you're like something that you want to dip. Super easy, and like I know people get cottage cheese and they have and then you have it like laying in there forever. It's a
Sure.
great way to use it up too if you want to.
So what else we got?
We're gonna do like half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. You could probably eye it up.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not too difficult, but See, Rolf's doing it the
Yeah,
smart way, not
in case
dumping
I
the white
spill it.
pepper on there.
Oh, there?
Yeah, there you go. We're like a pinch of salt. Cottage cheese has a good amount of salt in it, but a little bit of a different style salt, I think, sort of helps pop the flavor out. Just a pinch is all you need. Some black pepper. Let's do that. Okay, and then you're going to do half of that container of cottage cheese.
So this
it's
is a pound.
Half a cup, basically. Yeah, I'm gonna get the. These are handy dandy. This is actually the small curd. You can use large curd.
Well, since you're going to use the
We're
immersion
blitzing it up
blender.
anyways. I mean, if there's a price difference, you can really. I'd be interested to see, what brands, if there's a difference in cottage cheese brands for quality and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
I do, yeah, because you're not a big cottage cheese fan, you said. But like, I see it in sour cream and stuff like that. I see different dairy companies have different brands, and I find one. So I favor one over the other.
So all you need to do is just immersion blend this.
Here we go.
Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to put a little. This is the other adjustment I wanted to make. Is just put a little more lemon juice, just like a squeeze of a wedge. I think a little acidity may brighten up everything, and it will help everything pop. Cottage cheese is not. I mean, it has some acidity to it, but it's not like crazy. So just like a little squeeze of that in there, like.
Not too much, though.
No.
Like there?
Yeah, I think like that. I mean, if you wanted to use zest, you could do that too, depending on what. Everything's adjustable. And if you don't have an immersion blender, you can use your food processor, you can use your just mixer, however you want to do it. I think the important thing is you really want to get the curd blended up smooth. And, hopefully we get that going on here.
So you're talking about a dip, or kind of like an herb cottage cheese. I remember years ago we used to make a trip. We call it a guy's trip.
Yeah.
Dickie Dobner from the Sister Bay Bowl, Belgie from the Sister Bay Bowl, my dad, Balker, bartender at the Bowl. We go to Vegas, and we used to go to a place called the Alpine Village. There's a German restaurant there. And one of their things was a chicken soup, which was really like chicken gravy, but it was delicious. And they always served a side of seasoned herbed cottage cheese.
Really?
And it was so good. Well, they're out of business now, but you can, if you do some
We
deep.
probably the original idea here.
Yeah, well.
It's funny how much some of these recipes get passed down, and you're all of a sudden you're like, yeah, well, no, we've been doing this forever in my family, or we have this every Thanksgiving and that. And it's interesting how everything sort of comes about, but it always has some kind of passed down from parent to parent, and if you're of European descent, it's definitely has a lot.
It's crazy how color changes with the green, the white.
Well, you have the paprika in there, so it's going to give it. It's
kind of a yellow,
probably more of a yellow.
Yeah,
because
yellow
that orange,
green.
And that was like the other nice thing, if you notice here. So this is smoked paprika. The brighter the color is really how fresh it will be. If you ever see any spices that are starting to brown or dull, just throw them out. Get new. You're not going to get the flavor. Especially paprika will just taste like you're putting dust in it.
Yeah, I've gotten the habit of buying the smallest containers, even though they're the most expensive. It's more expensive to buy a big container and throw it out.
Yeah, or if you do, like we've been doing more and more meal planning. Like just look for the recipes that are going to utilize some of these spices and do it, or make a larger batch and then freeze them. I think nowadays, especially you could just make a bunch of food really easily and just plan it out and wrap it or put it in the fridge and pull it out for dinner when everybody's at swim class like I have tonight and stuff like that. So ideally, it's going to be nice and smooth. Rolf did a really good job. A blender will do like a really great job too, just blending out so smoothly, and we're just going to pour it out. We're going to put it in this little cup here.
Okay.
You don't have to. We're gonna eat this right away, but like you could let it set in the refrigerator, just let it cool down for like 5 to 10 minutes, and it will firm up a little more because everything will sort of, we've been sort of just mixing in, adding air to it. The air will come out, and it will just sort of it'll be more of a dip, but this looks pretty dipped to me right now.
All
so
right, let's
I'll
scrape
let you do
her in
that.
there.
So we've got our fancy thing. So if you want to do like a crudité, which is a fancy name for veggie tray, you could definitely do that.
A fancy name that I never remember.
Yeah. Well, I only did because I used to work. We used to have crudité trays that we sold. So it was like when I worked in fancy catering stuff. So
And
that was how we
up
called
in the
it.
UP, it's a crudette tray.
Crudette. Okay, we're gonna do that. This tail. So I mean, if you want to take
It almost looks like mustard.
Your favorite hardtack. Yeah, the smoked paprika really does that. I mean, you could almost tell everybody it's hummus, and then they're surprised when they have it. But
All right. Now,
Okay.
am I allowed to dip in?
yeah, let's just go ahead
Yeah,
and dip in.
I'm gonna go for a carrot first.
I'm gonna do a carrot for the most.
First of all,
Almost it's like a bacony flavored.
you would never tell me that's cottage cheese, you know.
No.
And I would go, oh, that's cottage cheese. If you just say, what is that? I'm like, wow, that's a really good dip.
It's funny, the smoked paprika gives it just like a hint of smokiness, which like there.
I like it immensely. It's very good.
Yeah, I think it's just a really quick, something you whip up at your house. You have friends coming over. You're like, I mean, half a clove of garlic, any herbs you have, really. You can use dried herbs. Just be careful with the quantities there because you don't want to overpower everything. But even with this, I don't think you really need to worry about it. Definitely probably really good with these chips here.
Super easy to make.
Yeah.
And again, how'd you make this? You say, well, you start out, the majority of the product is cottage cheese. And you're like, no way.
Yeah, I mean, I think these are things that are just would be knocking around your refrigerator that you could do that. I mean, actually, as a condiment on a sandwich would be really good too. And the other neat thing is it is really high in protein. So if you're looking to supplement your diet that way, you just added a boat ton of protein in there, in a good way, and in a healthy, natural way too. So.
Well, I eat awful fast when you're talking. I'm just like,
Well, I get to talk, you get to eat, but. Thank you again for watching another video of ours. We love when people check it out and do that. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. You can just do it by clicking the goat link down there. You have that cute little goat on the bottom corner. And then you'll get notified when the next one comes up. And when you get notified, you just click on that and you're going right to the video. And you'll actually, a lot of times, see the video sooner than everybody else because.
And feel free to comment if you've made any of these dishes, you know, what you might have changed in them, or if they're similar to something you've had before.
Yeah, if you find like an herb combination that you go, this is lights out. The other thing I was thinking was, if you wanted to go sweet, you could put a little lingonberries in there. It would probably be a really good addition also, and have a nice sort of pretty color. I wouldn't call it a dessert dip, but like it would be, you know, sort of along those lines.
What I like about this, like, you know, when you come up with these ideas and it jogs a memory, like I said, the Alpine Village and stuff like that. It's memory lane when you get some of these older, like you say, like a diner, or not diner style, but supper club style foods.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this is
that I love.
tasty, very tasty.
And I feel better about being a Wisconsinite now too. So
because you can handle your cottage
I can
cheese.
I can eat cottage cheese.
All right. All right.
Well, thank you. Hey, no.
Hey.
Thanks for watching Door County Girl. Don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.